Hey guys, how you doing? If you don't know how to pick your snow goggles, today's video might be the answer. Hey guys, how are you doing? Gonçalo André here. If you don't know me, I'm a PE teacher from Portugal and I've been a snow enthusiast for the past 25 years. Also making your dream snow trips come true for the past 11. And today we've got a great video for you. We're gonna talk about snow goggles. Well, most of the people ask me, well, it's the first time I'm going skiing. Do I really need like these fancy snow goggles? Well, you don't need fancy snow goggles, but you do need snow goggles. You can go skiing or snowboarding with your sunglasses, yes, but chances are if you're learning, you're gonna fall, you're gonna hit the ground a couple of times, so you better have some protection. And these goggles not only give you proper protection from UV rays, but also give you protection from the debris. However, you don't usually know exactly how to pick your goggles. The offer is huge, so you don't quite know exactly what to choose. So today we're gonna help you pick exactly the goggles for you. First things first, so let's talk about the shape of the goggles. You've got basically two shapes. Well, in fact, there are three, but let's focus especially on two shapes. There are spherical goggles and there are cylindrical goggles. Well, what's the difference between them? Well, you can see this curve around your face, and these are cylindrical goggles, okay? Now, you can have spherical goggles, and these are like this, where you can see it curves like this, and it curves like this. So these are spherical goggles. And basically, you've got these two types. Most of the brands have both. They already have goggles with interchangeable lenses, so you can have different types and different colors and for different conditions, and we will talk about that right now. So you've got four categories of goggles, from 1 to 4. Now let's leave number 4 because they're for high mountain expeditions, you know, to polar circles, to ascend the Everest and all that stuff. So we're not going to do that. So we're going to focus on the first 3. So number 1 is for low light conditions. Well, if you're skiing and it's snowy and there's no light or it's foggy, well, you should go for number 1 category goggles. So for number 2, these are kind of intermediate goggles. If you don't know exactly which conditions you're gonna find, well, you should go for number 2. If you only can afford 1 pair of goggles, you should go for number 2 because they're pretty versatile. You can use them both on really sunny days and you can use them for foggy days. So my advice to you is if you only want to buy 1 pair of goggles, or if you can afford 1 pair of goggles, you should buy for category 2 goggles, okay? So category 3 goggles are for really bright days, you know, those sunny days where the sun is shining and you're cruising down a mountain and the sun is really strong. So these are usually mirrored goggles and really dark goggles that allow low lights in. Now let's talk about something that's called the VLT. Well, VLT stands for Visible Light Transmission. Basically, I'll put the intervals right here. Well, basically, it divides goggles into 3 intervals. From 7 to 14, 15%, from 15 to 40%, and from 40 to 80, up to 80%. Well, this means the amount of light that the goggles allow in. So from 7 to 15%, it means that the goggles only allow 7 to 15% of the light coming in. So you should use this interval or this kind of goggles for really bright days. If you're facing some really sunny conditions, you need a pair of goggles that doesn't allow too much light in, so it doesn't affect your vision. So on the other hand, you've got the goggles where you go from 40 to 80%, which means that the goggles allow 40 to 80% of light in, which means they are suitable for foggy conditions. You need more light in. Now today, most of the brands already have some technologies that allow for variable conditions. I mean, so imagine that you start coming down the mountain and conditions are foggy up there, you're starting way up, and all of a sudden in the middle of the mountain you find like these really sunny conditions. You know, the clouds are behind and the sun is shining, and you're not going to stop and change your lenses. Well, you can if you do have a pair of extra lenses, but you will usually have one pair of goggles, so you're not going to stop. You keep on skiing or snowboarding, of course. So if you're facing these kind of changes, you should go for, as I told you, some intermediate goggles. And there are many brands like Oakley or Dragon or Smith or whatever. It's not endorsed video, so I'm not going to talk a lot about brands. But you can go for any of those good brands, and they already have some technologies that adjust the amount of light. This technology is absolutely amazing. Well, so now let's talk about the colors. Colors are just basically a way to stop or allow light from coming into the goggles. Bear in mind that most of these goggles are double lenses, which means that there's a pair of lenses for the outside and there's a lens for the inside. And this means that the heat from your face is gonna stay inside and the cold from the outside is not in the same lenses, and this creates a small space that prevents the glasses from going foggy and from condensing. It's almost the same as your windows at home. Of course, there are goggles that only have one lens, and these are more likely to have condensation problems. So if you can afford them, you should go for double lenses goggles. Another feature that is also important is the OTG. This means over the glasses. And these are important for people that use prescription glasses. Most of the brands have some goggles that allow you to use the goggles over your prescription glasses. And I was talking about the colors, and of course there's the yellow, there's the pink, there's the orange, and these are usually category 1 goggles, which means they allow light to go in because these are light colors and they allow the light to go in. So if you want to go to categories 2 or 3, you're going to find mirrored goggles. And these are goggles that allow less light in. They reflect a big part of the light, so it allows less light in. And these are usually, you know, red or green mirrored, or even black and gray. You can find some really dark goggles. So then again, if you're not a very experienced skier, you should go for a category 2 goggles, some intermediate goggles that are fairly good. And these are going to last you like 5, 6, 7 years. We've talked about a category, we've talked about safety, we've talked about the colors and the VLT. Now let's talk about the price range. And this is a bit sketchy for me because I don't know exactly what budget you have, how much you are willing to spend. So it all depends on how often you ski and where you go ski or snowboard. You've got goggles that range from like 20, 30 euros and they are okay, to $300 or 300 euros, and that's really up to you. How you buy your goggles is really important, and what tips, what should you remember when you buy your goggles? Well, the first thing that you need to do is you need to bring your helmet. And this is important. Why? First of all, this is not a mandatory item, but I strongly recommend that you use your helmet. Always, whether you go ski or snowboard, you should wear your helmet. This is really important, okay? So you should bring your helmet and put it on. Put it on and try the goggles with your helmet on. This is one big mistake that inexperienced skiers make. They go out, they buy the goggles, and then don't try with the helmet. And when they get home or get to the slopes and try with the goggles, well, the goggles don't fit as well. You don't need to worry about the brand, because you know most of the brands just made like the steel where the shape of the helmet is the same. So whether you use Oakley goggles with a gyro helmet, it doesn't matter, it will fit. Of course it fits a little better if the brand is the same, but it's not a big issue. So you should put your helmet on, okay, just the strap and all that, and then you should try your goggles. Well, your goggles shouldn't be very loose, okay, and they shouldn't be a gap like this. Not only it looks stupid, but it allows cold to come in and the goggles will keep hitting the helmet and the helmet is not stable. So you should adjust and just enough room inside, okay? So kind of like this. Then always check if your goggles on the back side of the strap have like this silicone application. Well, it allows for goggles not to slip. Of course, there's this thing here where you can put the strap and then you can just pin it and the strap stays in the same place. But if it has those silicone applications, it will stick better, okay? So one thing you need to remember when you go out and buy goggles is you should try them and see if they fit your face, and if there are no gaps here on your forehead, on your nose, if it's too tight, if there's no gaps right here around the eyes, see if the goggles really seal your face and they are a good fit. Try several goggles, try with your helmet. I've already talked about it. Well, if it's possible, check also if your goggles have like these really tiny holes both on top and under, and these allow for better airflow so they don't get foggy and you are able to see. You should go to your local store and try them and try and see if they fit. If it's possible, go outside and watch how the sun reflects on the goggles. Try them outside. Don't only try them inside, because that's a big mistake. Sometimes the artificial light doesn't transmit exactly how you would feel on the outside. So if you can, try to go the outside. It's not always easy, but you should try to do so. Now let's talk about the attention you need to give your goggles. So how you treat them so they won't scratch. Well, basically you need to use the microfiber bag that comes with the goggles and just gently wipe them. Don't put your finger on them and just gently wipe. If snow gets inside the lens, don't forget these are coated lenses and you should be very, very careful not to remove that layer. So if water comes in, just gently use the microfiber bag and don't scratch, okay? Just remove the excess water, careful, gently, and let them air dry. Don't use the radiator, don't use any source of heat, because it will damage the foam. The elastic band might be damaged if you use too much heat. So be very careful about your goggles. This is a big investment and they should, they should last for at least 5, 6, 7 years. And if you treat them well, they are gonna last. So guys, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this video. If it is so, please smash that like button, share. Don't forget to subscribe. It's really, really important for me and for the channel and for the brand. Don't forget to follow us also on YouTube and Instagram, comment below. Tell me what you thought about the video. Tell me which goggles do you prefer, how often do you ski or snowboard, where do you usually go. Feel free to contact. I'll be more than happy to talk to you. So guys, take care, see you next time, have a nice day. And this is important for people that use prescription for higher categories. 2 or 3 usually find mirrored goggles. So again, if you're not very experienced, so also check if your goggles have like these air vents, and these allow for more